Hi y'all, how's everyone doing today? I hope you're good. I am really thinking a lot about Holy Week this week, and Easter is coming up, and we're doing wonderful things with our family and having some fun activities. But I'm really enjoying reading my Bible and getting back to really remembering what Jesus said on his last few days, on earth. He just had a little bit of time left, and he had some really important things to say. And I turned to Matthew chapter 16 this morning, and Jesus is having a conversation with Peter, telling him what's going to happen. Telling him he's going to die, and he's going to go to Jerusalem and have a lot of suffering, and he's going to die on the cross, and it's not going to be good stuff. And Peter was like, no, Jesus, that's not going to happen. No, not you. You raise the dead. These guys can't get to you. And he was not really understanding. So I've got my Bible open. If you guys have a Bible, open it up. Open it up to Matthew chapter 16, and let's take a look at this. Now, I've got to tell you, what it says here is a little bit surprising. Not because we're not familiar with the story, and if you're like me, if you've grown up in church, you're very familiar with the story. You know what Easter Sunday is all about. You're familiar with the story. But if we really put ourselves back in time there, we can just think about, walking and talking with Jesus, just like Peter and the disciples were doing. And this is what Jesus says. He says, going to Jerusalem, and many terrible things are going to be happening at the hands of the elders and the leading priests and the teachers and the people of the religious law. So these are really, really good people, y'all. These are the best people that were around. But they're going to kill me, and I'm going to die. I'm reading Matthew chapter 16, starting at verse 21, Danielle. Oh, thanks for joining me. I'm going to die. And then Peter takes him aside, like, no, Jesus, come here, Jesus, we're talking about this. Jesus, no, don't say stuff like this. Power of positive thinking, right? I could just see me doing this. No, Jesus, don't say you're going to die. You're going to be fine. It's not going to happen. Really, you'll be fine. And I know that Peter really probably had a little bit of ego at this point, since just a little bit before this, earlier that day, Jesus said, Peter, God's speaking to you, man. And you know that I'm going to build my church on you. I'm going to call you the rock, So Peter's got, this idea in his head, man, I'm the rock, I'm really hearing from God. And then when Jesus starts talking about that he's going to suffer and die, Peter's like, come here, we're going to die. You're not going to die. You're good. This is going to be good. You're going to be okay. You've got out of bad stuff before. You're going to get out of this. And then Jesus says something pretty startling. He says, get away from me, Satan. You're a dangerous trap for me. You are seeing things merely from a human point of view, but not from God's point of view. Can you just imagine for a minute? That is in chapter 16, Matthew chapter 16, verse 23. Can you just imagine? Peter was probably like, wait, what just happened here? Earlier today, I was the rock, and then right now you're saying, get behind me, Satan. But because it's just like Peter had slipped into a mindset of thinking about what's important with these earthly things. Basically, Jesus is saying, look, I didn't come here to be great. I came here to die. Really, I came here to die. I came here to lay down my life, and you can't get between me and what I came here for, my purpose. And so he's explaining further to Peter, and as he goes into the next verse to explain to Peter and to the rest of the disciples, he says this. This is in verse 24. If any of you want to be my follower, you must turn from your selfish ways. You must deny yourself. Okay? Take up your cross and follow me. If you try to hang on to your life, you will lose it. But if you give up your life for my sake, you will save it. And what do you benefit if you gain the whole world, but you lose your own soul? Is there anything worth more than your soul? So let's just stop there for a minute, y'all. Can you imagine this conversation between Jesus and his disciples, it is so interesting to think that Jesus didn't say, hey, look, follow me. I'm going to tell you the 7 steps to success. Follow me. I'm going to give you, the keys to being, the king of the world, to being the most successful, the most famous, the most beautiful, the most talented. What he's saying is, I didn't come to give you anything like that. And I didn't come for any of these things. I don't need to be the king. I already am. I really am. He was already the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords, and we know that he was the king because just a few days ago, they honored him with the triumphal entry with the palm branches as he entered on a donkey, saying that he was the Prince of Peace. He knew the lordship. But y'all, how easy is it for us to slip into this trap, just like the disciples did, of worshiping creation instead of the creator, worshiping things, that we can attain in this world, and then we get all wrapped up in things of this world, in success and titles and being able to buy stuff and being able to make money and being able to, have sort of a status in life. And what's the point if you gain this whole world but you lose your soul? He's saying there is no point to it. There's no point to it because you'll lose it all anyway, right? Y'all, you can't take any of it with you. Our life is so temporary. But to really gain what we really, really want, it's through dying. It's through selflessness, not selfishness. It's through dying to the things of this world. It's through denying ourselves. Y'all, that is so counterintuitive, isn't it? It's like we don't even think every day when we get up like, okay, I'm going to die to myself today. We always think, okay, how can I be a better person, right? How can I make myself better? So with all the self-help books and all the self-improvement and all of these things, let's not ever forget the point of it all. The point is to connect with our relationship with an eternal God, to really understand our soul and what the Spirit wants to do within us, which is completely different than what this world wants to offer us. So it has nothing to do with what this world says would give us happiness or success, but it's what our Spirit gives us, and this is literally to deny ourselves is the only way that we gain our life. And it seems like this will be a difficult thing to do, but when you really think about it, it's what you want anyway, because I don't know about you, but if you just notice, a lot of people have gained a lot of things. I think of Michael Jackson. I think of Whitney Houston. I think of, well, goodness, we can even go into history and think of, great leaders in history, that gained the world. But what did it profit them if they lost their soul? What did it profit them if they lost their soul? It doesn't profit them at all. It doesn't profit them at all. We want to be connected with our soul. We want to have our soul saved. We want to be able to connect with Jesus through denying ourselves, just like he did. Y'all, we don't wake up every day thinking we want to deny ourselves, but I'm just telling you, that's the number one most important thing in your life, is to learn to live selflessly, is to learn to deny yourself. And when we deny ourselves, that's when we truly live. There's no one more miserable than a selfish, self-centered person. But there's nobody more joyful and full of joy than a person that has laid down their life and who lives sacrificially. I mean, you can even think of Mother Teresa. She had nothing of this world, but boy, she had so much joy, so much fulfillment in her life through denying herself the things of this world. So think about the scripture this afternoon, and I'm going to talk more about it tonight, but just the concept of what you're really called to do, which is to deny yourself. And this is what it means to really be a Christian. If you want to be a follower of me, you must take up your cross. You must deny yourself. But if you try to hold on to your life, you're going to lose it. So there's your word for today. And it's a great thing to think about during this Holy Week. And I'll talk more about it tonight at 9 o'clock. Y'all, thanks for joining me today. And have a great rest of the day. God bless you. Bye-bye.